Ashley Against All Odds, and we have the guru. Everyone, this is John Hansen, who has been on NFL Network, then you did ESPN, and then you created your entire own website. You guys got to go to fantasypoints.com.
Ashley, it's great to be with you. And first year for the website here, so it's been pretty good, all things considered. But yeah, it's just not me either, Ashley. It's a number of very well-respected names in the industry. Graham Barfield, for example, is a gentleman who I first hired about 5 years ago when he was right out of college. He left me to be the managing editor of NFL.com.
I want to talk a little bit about Thursday Night Football, Seahawks and Cardinals, NFC West, because our NFC East, well, my NFC East is just atrocious. Talk about the West.
I like you took ownership in it, though.
Oh my gosh, it's so bad. I'll always give my predictions and I'll say, I'm going to take them, but I strongly suggest you do not. This week, I'm 1,000% going against my own team. Like, I'm just going to say the Browns are going to win and cover, for sure.
Which, by the way, guarantees the Eagles will win. You do know that.
Probably,
right?
because it's Murphy's Law with my teams.
One thing important, I find it to be a little bit more important this year. It's a week-to-week league, so you can't look back at last week and say, oh, that's going to happen again. Oftentimes, the opposite will happen. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if Carson Wentz actually came out and played well and they won. And
has been the most sacked quarterback out of anybody in the entire league, which is
we're in the playoffs, girl. You're in, girl. You're in.
Barely, which, by the way, for the Seahawks and the Cardinals and the Rams, tight race. They're all 6-3. Cardinals leading first, but it could be any one of these teams. I think, like you were saying, it's week to week. You just never know who could take it.
And major implications over in the NFC West tomorrow night with the Cardinals at 6-3 and the Seahawks at 6-3 too.
If you were to compare Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, who do you think is going to have more passing yards?
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting one. You know what? I'm going to go right to my own projections because I've already done those. I actually have 5 yards difference, but I do have Russell throwing for 5 more yards, which means it's anyone's guess. Throwing a couple more passes, but he's struggling right now.
He is. You know, they're coming off of 2 losses where the Cardinals are coming off of an amazing, insane win with that Hail Mary throw to DeAndre Hopkins. The Cardinals beat the Seahawks week 7. I mean, that was in overtime and by 3 points. So this game is definitely going to be close. I also think I like Russell slightly better here for more yards, but I'm nervous. I actually, this game to me is a very close game.
I would kind of give the edge overall to the Cardinals for a variety of reasons, but you know, Kyler is running more than Russell. Obviously, it's designed runs for the Cardinals is a big part of their offense, whereas with Russell Wilson, it's a little bit more of a back pocket item, you know, like I'll run if I need to. Not Kyler. I mean, he's got 60+ rushing in 4 straight games.
Number 1 in rushing, the Cardinals, and they're the number 1 offense in the entire league right now. It's crazy. For more receiving yards between DeAndre Hopkins and DK Metcalf.
Well, I think you must go Hopkins right there. He's got 500-yard games this season. He did put up a nice game about a month ago, week 7, 10 grabs for 103. Do you know DK Metcalf in 3 career games against the Cardinals, one of them being week 7, has 3 catches total for fewer than 30 yards.
I did notice that. To the 2 games, you're right, he was 29 yards. I was so surprised by that. So I actually kind of agree with you, even though Metcalf is getting 8.5 and Kyler Murray was getting 29.5. Russell and DeAndre Hopkins are the favorite for gambling on fantasy football. I like Hopkins more too. I agree. I mean, he's kind of now, especially after that Hail Mary pass, is going to be Kyler's go-to guy even more. I mean, they were already put 3 men on him. I mean, how many more can you put on him?
Oh, I know. My sleeper for the Cardinals is Larry. I do a little thing on the radio I call the Thursday Night Special. It's a lower end player who's probably available in most leagues that you could use in a pinch or try out in DFS. You know, you don't want to start Larry over, you know, Will Fuller, but if you're desperate, I do think he'll do some good things, actually. I think he'll be busy because Seattle, obviously we all know their secondary is awful, but they've been particularly bad covering the slot. And actually, to that point, 3 weeks ago, Larry caught all 8 of his targets for 62. Maybe not jumping for joy, but hey, that's 14 points in PPR. It's pretty damn good. I think he'll catch 5-6 balls, and if he scores, he'll go off. So that's my sleeper.
Who has been your number 1 surprise that has just been a breakout star? And then who are you kind of the most disappointed with for points wise for fantasy?
Yeah, that's a great question. Gotta be Mr. Hair, Justin Herbert. I knew he was pretty good. You know, he's got good hair. I mean, enough said, right? But
not anymore, but he did have.
We all know he's physically gifted.
Yeah.
Tall, he's got a big arm, he's pretty athletic and all that. But I've been around a while. I've seen plenty of physically gifted guys do nothing. So the fact that he's been this good is absolutely absurd to me. I no off season. He does have some issues. He's kind of what they call like a see it and throw it guy. He doesn't see plays develop and play with anticipation, which can really cut down your margin for error in the NFL. Yet he's, again, so talented, and ball location has been so good, and his arm is strong. They're aggressively attacking down the field, and he's shown great poise. I mean, really impressive. So I'm blown away by Justin Herbert. Now, on the buzzkill side of things, I was a big Jonathan Taylor backer, fellow South Jersey guy as well.
Oh, I love that we're so South Jersey right now. I want to almost ask you, like, what's your favorite restaurant and Philly cheesesteak?
I'm a Jim's guy.
Me too. Jim's is my favorite on South Street. I always feel like Pat's and Gino's is a tourist trap.
It's like me and you right here. We're like this.
Okay, so your sleeper.
Oh, Jonathan Taylor, real quick. Jonathan Taylor, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's like we're seeing it in Detroit with DeAndre Swift. I was very high on DeAndre Swift too. And I'm on the radio and I'm on TV. Anyone who listen, I'm screaming out onto back alleys. Anyone who listen, the kid needs the ball. Like, he's got to get the ball to get into a rhythm. And he's not successful on the few carries he does get. So therefore, they're using the other guys who are more comfortable in the blocking scheme, and they know it, and the O-line, and they're a little bit more effective. But again, the only way this guy's going to get better is reps. It's just like DeAndre Swift. Oh, look, he got 16 carries in week 10. Oh, what happened? He blew up. Why? Because he got the ball. So people are a little pissed at me about Jonathan Taylor.
Well, people were pissed about me about Sam Darnold when I kept telling them not to take him. But, you know, when people are fans, they're going to be mad at you. So you have to take it. But
my thing is, like, yeah, I'm wrong all the time, but eventually I'll be right, guys. You know, there was a time where I was ripped for pushing Travis Kelce. Okay. Really? I was like literally the first one on Kelce. I sat with him at the combine. I sought him out and interviewed him. I'm like, you're my guy, man. I'm like, you're going to do it. He's like, thanks, bro. And oversold him like 2 years in a row. People are like, you know, this guy's good, but he ain't that good. I'm like, how you like me now? Yeah. You know, so Taylor will be the same.
He is that good. Yeah, you know, it's quite interesting when you were talking earlier about Herbert too, just because I never get this feeling, but when I watched his first game and I went, kid's a star. Like, this kid is a hands down star. Your first game out of college and you go up against the Super Bowl MVP and you make him go into overtime, kid's a star. Like, in my mind, I was like, he handled his own. He had control.
Well, you have good intuition, because I'm actually the exact same way. I've always felt with quarterbacks, you can tell early if they have it or they don't. You really can. And, you know, I mean, I'm hard pressed to come up with a more impressive debut than that. You know, I was joking on the radio because for a couple of weeks there, they were not naming him the starter. It was still going to be Tyrod. And my joke is, like, I have no say in the matter, but I'm naming him the starter. He's going to be the starter.
You're like, listen, I'm just going to send you the starting list and who's going to play.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to submit my starting lineup for your consideration.
So wait, how did you become the fantasy football guru? I would love to know how this started. I want to hear a bit about your background, and I want to hear about you now. So tell me.
I'll try and keep it brief. So I had a degree in radio, TV, film, you know, the easiest degree you can get, basically. And Rowan University.
Rowan, that's a great.
You know Rowan? Yeah. I was a little bit of a non-traditional student. I was in business. I owned a pizzeria when I was 19.
You did? Your own dough?
Oh, yeah. Spinning, all that. Oh, yeah. I used to be able to make a pizza from a ball of dough to in the oven in 18 seconds. That was my record. But actually, back then, my two partners, all young guys in their 20s, very into football, very into fantasy. We had a big satellite dish on the roof of the pizzeria where we would move the dish and pull in raw feeds of games.
Pizza and football dream.
Pretty much. And actually, where I started scouting players and getting into fantasy, and started doing the fantasy when I was like 18, and I was really good. Made some really good picks. I'm always like really ahead of the curve and proactive. And a guy in my league started calling me the guru. He's like, "Oh, the guru took him, so he's good." So that kind of took off a little. Then I was working in radio, again doing the broadcasting. There's a little rinky-dink TV station there. This is the 90s that all of a sudden was in like every home, like in our area there in the Delaware Valley, as we say, southern New Jersey, Pennsylvania, a little Delaware. And there was this rinky-dink TV show. This guy's doing this little cheesy TV sports show. And I said, you should have me on. It's like, they call me the guru, I'm like, we should do it. So he put me on there, and got a lot of calls. This is before there were a million channels too. There were not many channels back in the Stone Age in the 90s there. And it just kind of really took off. I was really surprised that there was that much interest in fantasy. Early 90s, there was a bump where like it became more prevalent. I think what really was the catalyst was the high-speed internet. 1996, I was like, 25 years old. ESPN contacted me. This is how early it was. They're like, yeah, we need someone for our fantasy stuff. We want to start doing fantasy sports. I'm like, all right, sure, I'll be your guy. And I was the first one to do anything for ESPN ever. I wrote the first fantasy content on ESPN TV, the website, the first columnist on ESPN.com, and then on radio. Did that for about 7 or 8 years. So I've worked for Yahoo and the ESPN, and did television with Ron Jaworski on NFL.com, NFL Fantasy Live. Mm-hmm. I was the first analyst on that show on the first day of NFL Network, and Jaws was the host. How about that?
Really?
Yeah, I was the analyst, me and Adam Kaplan, and Ron Jaworski was the actual host of it. This is like 01.
I remember reading that you were one of the very first people ever at NFL Network, and I was like, wow, that's incredible. That's insane.
Yeah, I was on the first day.
What was it like? Was it organized, or was it kind of like a shit show that day? Because now it's been many years.
Well, it was bi-coastal because I did it from Mount Laurel.
Did you really?
Yeah. Yeah, with Sterling Sharp, absolute baller. I mean, I'm talking as good as Jerry Rice, but he had a neck injury and ended his career prematurely. He should be in the Hall of Fame. He was my favorite, man, and I ended up working with him. I could do 20 hours on what I've encountered, but long story short, I just went for it. You gotta fully commit to whatever you're passionate about and just go all in. That's what I did, and it obviously worked out really well. So I did get a degree in broadcasting. There was a while where I didn't think I was going to do broadcasting for a variety of reasons. Yet through this fantasy thing, I literally found a backdoor into a broadcasting career, which is that to me is probably the coolest thing. Do
you still love it? I'm like, oh gosh, I want to just enjoy my family.
No, I'm still passionate. I hate being wrong. I'm addicted to being right. I mean, there's nothing better than being right when you get a call right.
I would rather get my picks right than almost anything. It's crazy. People are like, oh, how much money do you have in the game? I'm like, oh no, I don't gamble. I just get very upset when my predictions are wrong.
This is starting to get a little strange here because I maybe we're related or something, because I am exactly the same way.
You don't gamble at all?
Not really. My picks are my picks. Like if my picks are good, I'll be happy. If they're not, and I gamble, now I'm going to be twice as miserable.
Well, that's the other reason I don't gamble, because it's Murphy's Law. So if I made my predictions and I gambled on them, I would probably be wrong more often. So I always feel like I can't do that. Plus also, my whole theory is I don't need to make money off the picks. I just want people to not lose their money. So I'm only doing it to really help you from losing your money. So I like to beat Vegas. So that's all me.
I'm exact same way. Are you a Leo by any chance?
I'm a Virgo.
Okay, because I'm just checking. I'm a Leo. I don't know any signs or anything like that.
I don't know any signs either. I'm so bad at that. But I do know that Virgos are supposed to be perfectionists with work, which is me to a T. And then I'm messy in home life, like the rest of this house does. What do you watch when you're not watching football?
Yeah, well, certainly not Hollywood movies because they've been so awful. Yeah, I mean, I actually this year I haven't missed a beat. I mean, I feel so fortunate because I launched this new website this year. I took a year off last year where I just did like radio and TV, which was that was like a vacation. But we launched the site in April, and there's just so much involved. It's been pretty crazy since then. So I do the daily radio show. I do the show, Sirius XM, right here every morning.
Hello.
So I don't go anywhere there. So, and it's year round, you know. So that's kind of my blessing and curse.
That's new for quarantine that you're doing it in the house?
No, I've done it. I've done Sirius XM from my house for 17 years.
Seriously?
Yeah. I was 9 when I started. No, just kidding. I binge watch shows. I love sports documentaries, though. I really do. I watch any sports documentary. I'm in every 30 for 30, all that stuff. I binge watch some other shows a little bit too.
Like, what's your all-time favorite sports movie?
Well, I think I have to go Hoosiers there because, you know, there's 5, 6 movies I think most people have that if you're flipping, and you come across it, see in 2 hours, right?
I do actually love that movie. People will always say Rudy, and I do love Rudy, but Rudy makes me sad. I can't watch Rudy without crying.
What gets you this?
Do you have a favorite prop bet you have this coming week yet, or not yet?
Well, I haven't looked because they come out so late. Let me see if there's one on Thursday, because last week, Thursday, I nailed everything last week. Chase Edmonds over 47.5 rushing receiving is pretty good.
Yeah, I would say.
Because he catches the ball. He'll catch 3-4 balls in the game. Last week he had a 49% snap share. And he's so much better in a change of pace role than 56 yards rushing and 21 yards receiving. So there you go. There's one for you. Chase Edmonds over 47.5 rushing and receiving yards.
I love that you're a fellow Jerseyan, a South Jerseyan at that, because we are separated. The state is half and half. If anyone doesn't know that, Trenton is pretty much the marking line, and anybody north of Trenton is basically New York, and anybody south of Trenton is basically then we're South Jersey, Philly. So.
Yep, and people from South Jersey, we don't know anything about North Jersey, nor do we give a rat's ass, and they feel the same way about us.
But
we're on the same page.
Yep. Oh, you're awesome. Guru, I appreciate your time so much. So thank you so much for your time.
Okay, well, anytime, Ashley. Good luck with everything. Good luck this week. Good luck with the rest of the season. I'm happy to pop in again if you're looking for the Chop It Up event.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have you back. We can do maybe like a Monday Night Football or playoffs. When playoffs come around, maybe I'll get you that.
I'm all about it.
And thank you so much, John, for your time. You're amazing.
You got it.
Thank you.
All righty.